I'm Andrew Wall here at the 2009 Canadian Business Leadership Forum, and I'm joined now by Edward Kennedy, who is the Northwest Company CEO, President and CEO, and he's also our top retail executive for 2009, so named by Canadian Business Magazine. Congratulations, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks very much, good afternoon.
The Northwest Company, I'm not sure, people probably wouldn't immediately recognize that name as a big sort of retail name. I wonder if you can give a quick sort of snapshot of what your business is and where you are in the retail landscape.
Well, we focus on serving underserved markets geographically. So we started as a spin-off from the Bay in 1989. Our core business at that time was Northern Stores, the original Trading Post stores in Northern Canada. A few years later, we bought a similar type business in rural Alaska. We grew through the 90s through tuck-under acquisitions, independent store owners with exit strategies that led to us, expanded our food business, and then in the year 2000, we grew through Giant Tiger discount stores. We have a 30-year deal with Giant Tiger stores with exclusive rights to Western Canada. More recently, we've moved into other remote markets in the Southern Hemisphere, or close to it, in the Caribbean and the South Pacific. We acquired a publicly traded warehouse store chain out of Seattle with stores from Fiji all the way to St. Martin and Barbados.
So how is competing in retail, different in sort of remote locations versus?
Well, the local competitive intensity is lower. There are fewer options physically on the ground. So as one of the larger bricks and mortar retailers, we have a lot more underserved needs to choose from with respect to what we're going to meet. As a result, when you look at one of our stores, it's selling a broader range of products and services, from food, which anchors our business, to financial services, to big ticket durables, more recently into healthcare products. So you run a gamut of offering that would not be usually seen in an urban market context. And you tend to have, if you do it right, a more sustained business model because the needs truly are underserved, they're real needs, and again, the local competitive intensity is just less developed.
So how does that change the challenges that you face as operating as a retail store?
Well, I mean, when you start with again that broad range of products and services, you divide it into only $1.5 billion in sales, and getting scale advantage can be a challenge. Simply from the expertise to procure and put together the marketing programs. So the first decision is, are you going to be vertical and do it yourself, or will you partner? And we tend to be one of the more open architected retailers because we're looking for partners, non-competing retailers that we can be a conduit partner into these marketplaces. Once you choose to take that product service approach, then it's the question of how do you deliver it. And because of the elongated outbound logistics, for example, if you're going to move perishable food or any tactile product into these markets, you have to be very conscious of that. So we invest time and expertise in the supply chain management. A third key ingredient are the people that are going to manage and run these types of operations. So we invest a lot of time in talent management, recruitment and retention strategies that will find people and keep them in these very remote markets in what is essentially quite a decentralized management model.
Tell me a little bit more about that decentralized management model that you have. I guess give a lot of responsibility to the people who are on the floor and try and train them so they're able to sell a wide range of or the full range of products that.
It's the complexity of the business that you're alluding to. I mean, once we sort of set that stage where we're going to sell this broad range of products and services within the four walls of the store, you need a management team that can handle that complexity. You're also dealing with a very localized approach, and it's that axiom of act global or think local. And in our case, it's very much the truth because the average community size may only be 2,000 or 3,000 people. The island markets that we serve in the Caribbean and the South Pacific are 50,000 average population. So we are known by default as a significant economic force and factor in the communities and regions that we serve. The manager has a high profile, and they have to act accordingly. So we build in a lot of adaptability, a lot of flexibility. And the talent that we bring to the table has to reflect that. So we don't try to overcomplicate it, but it just comes with the territory that it's more complex, it's more adaptable, and it's a more flexible type of a retail arrangement.
You've expanded, as you noted, to South Pacific and the Caribbean. Do you expect to sort of look for more expansion opportunities?
Well, once we put our toe in the water, it kind of builds on itself, and Alaska would be a good example of that. We started with about a dozen stores, and we have 35 now, and we simply built ourselves into that region through greenfield and tuck-in acquisitions. to the point where we're now the largest retailer in rural Alaska. I'd expect that as we get to know the markets better in the South Pacific and the Caribbean, we'll keep growing in a similar way. We'll look at existing retail infrastructure, because greenfield is very expensive. Just like someone looking from the outside in would look at the north and say, well, do I really want to put up a store at $1 gazillion a square foot to compete against in a very small population base? So we are looking at the existing retail network that we see in these island markets and saying, can we do it better? Are there people interested in selling? And how will we go at the market? So time will tell, but I'd say in the next 5 years, people should expect to see us add stores slowly, and then maybe build momentum as we gain confidence and competence in those markets.
Very interesting story. Thank you very much for all your time.
Thank you. You're welcome.